Hey guys, I'm Matt Lavelle with WHSL Market. I wanted to talk a little bit about what problems really large trade shows create for buyers and sellers. If you really stop and think about it, there are definitely positives to really large trade shows and there's also negatives. So I want to talk a little bit about that. First of all, when everything feels so big, just massive, just seas of vendors and people walking everywhere that either speak your language or don't, but when everything feels so big, nothing feels personal, and that causes deals to suffer. You really don't get the deep, enriching conversations. So WHSL Market has been designed differently. We have our market coming up on April 21st and 22nd in Louisville, Kentucky at the International Kentucky Convention Center. Beautiful facility right in the heart of downtown Louisville, where Louisville does have an international airport and it's very centrally located to the Midwest and East Coast if people wanted to drive. So it's super simple to get to and a beautiful facility. We've designed the conference to be different. We don't want it to be so overwhelming that deals suffer. So we've put it in a position where, hey, how do we make sure that that doesn't happen? So as a way to kind of go over that, let's talk about some of the problems that big conferences create. So let's start with buyers. First of all, for buyers, there's too many options and no guidance. You show up and sure, you might have a directory or something, but how do you know who is who really applies to you? There's really no good way to do that or really any good guidance to be able to understand it. So too many options, not real good guidance. It's also very intimidating for a small buyer. I remember the first time I went and I showed up, I had no clue what to expect. So just the booking the plane ticket and getting there, just going on faith of, hey, I think this might turn out good. That took some bravery and effort. But then after that, when I got there, it was just, man, this is kind of overwhelming. And it was a little scary. Next, buyers, it creates a problem you really only get surface level conversations with those exhibitors. They're trying to meet with so many people and you'll be talking with somebody and you'll feel the pressure of having 3 or 4 people behind you. And it's like, man, I really want to get to know this supplier better, know what they have, know what we can work together on, and you really just don't have that time. So it becomes very transactional, very surface level, just not real conducive to quality relationships. Lastly, it's with so many people walking around, it's hard to know who's legit or who's relevant. You may think, oh, that person I think might be the right person, but you really don't know. In a more intimate setting, you really can get to know who do you want to talk to, and that can become very important. So that's for the buyers. Now for the sellers, what does a more intimate conference provide? How does it differ from the problems that a big conference creates? So from a seller perspective, when you're in a really big conference, man, your booth really becomes a billboard. If you're not eye-catching, everyone's going to walk right past you. And that's not really the purpose. We don't need to have a flashy billboard just to get people to stop. We need people to stop because they're interested in growing their business and working with us. So again, you have to spend a lot more money, have a really flashy billboard for your booth to really do much. Also, you're gonna have a lot of time wasted in unqualified conversation. So you have to be way more transactional in your conversations initially. You don't really give some legitimate buyers a chance to really develop a relationship with, because you know that if you're talking to them and they're not the right person could be walking right by and not stopping because they see a line of people waiting to talk. And so you got to be really transactional. You don't really get deep in any type of conversation. You don't get to know the person. And so at that point, you're really putting the burden on the buyer to follow up or respond to your follow-up in a more detailed and intimate way so that you can really cultivate something out of that time spent at the conference. Next, you start to get staff burnout. There's so much going on and you got so many people everywhere that, man, if you're at some of these big trade shows that go on for days on end, by the 3rd or 4th day, man, your staff really starts to burn out. They might have gone out for a little too late, whining and dining some customers, maybe doing more whining than dining, and all of a sudden they're showing up late, or they're showing up hungover. They don't have the energy and the tone to represent your business properly. Lastly, there's low follow through after the event. You have so many leads and you don't know who is representing any type of value, that you don't put a ton of effort in every single lead because you can't afford to. And so that just, again, you might have some really good contacts that you never have a chance to materialize. Again, our conference, WHSL Market, will be April 21st and 22nd in Louisville, Kentucky. You can get more information and your free ticket, again, it's free, at www.whslmarket.com. As a recap, the problem for buyers: too many options, no guidance, intimidation for newer buyers, surface level conversations only, and hard to know who's legit or really worth the time to spend with. Sellers, your booths become billboards, time wasted on non-qualified conversations, you start to get staff burnout, and you have low follow-through after the event. So that's how bigger trade shows can create problems for both buyers and sellers. We really hope to see you at WHSL Market, which would not be considered one of those larger trade shows. It's going to be a more intimate setting where you can build deep, enriching relationships with the people you talk with. April 21st and 22nd in Louisville, Kentucky. Come check us out, where we are built on trust and backed by community.